Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back on the 66 Impala L72 4-speed convertible. We got some parts. The engine is here. Exhaust manifolds are here. Bell housing. Flywheel. Transmission. And a bunch of other junk over here. We're going to start getting this car back together. I still have a little bit more detail work to do underneath the hood and the inner fender areas. I'll address that. We pretty much have the undercarriage done and ready to go. We have the rear is all together and the new cover is on. I'm spinning around in circles because I don't really know where I'm going, but we'll walk over to the back here and take a look underneath. The rear of the car was in pretty good shape when it got to the shop. However, the rear cover itself was pretty pitted. So we elected to just remove the old one. Fortunately, you can get brand new covers from the aftermarket to replace the old ones, which is exactly what we did. Put a new gasket, new cover that had already been painted back on the rear. It looks way better. I'll put on a brand new limited slip diff tag as a nice finishing touch to the rear. See, the rear is pretty much finished detail-wise. Has a new cover, a Positraction tag, new lines, new hose, all pretty clean. Went through the wheel wells, cleaned them up. Everything's looking pretty good. Cleaned up in here as well. The control arms are pretty decent. Got the new bushings in there. They take those little end caps that go on there. I'm going to wait to install those until the car is sitting on the ground. That way there's no like torsional stress put on the bushing until it's at rest with that bolt end. So that helps just keep the main shaft centered on the control arms for the most part. Looking pretty clean. Now, it's nice to work with a good car to begin with. It makes my job a little easier. Put in fresh emergency brake cables underneath there. New brake line and fuel line clips. Those were a bit of a job to install. But not too bad, kind of unique. I'm used to the Ford ones, not the Chevy. Taking a look at the brake and fuel line clips, you can see the pin on the back that goes inside the frame. And then on the front side, there's a hole in which you put a punch through and gently tap to expand that pin inside the frame. Going to start by first setting the clip in the frame and then using a flat, wide punch to gently tap that pin inside the hole of the frame. Once I feel it fully seat, make sure it's square, then I'll come back and I have a narrow punch that fits through that hole, but it is wide enough to expand the pin on the back to secure it in the hole in the frame. All in all, everything's looking pretty clean. Still more work to do before I can drop the engine in though. Once I get the engine compartment all cleaned up, then I should be ready for it. I like to take inventory of all the parts needed for the installation of the exhaust manifolds before I begin. Looks like everything's here. Always make sure to clock the exhaust manifold bolts before bending over the lock tabs. The fuel pump's really grimy, but I have to be careful. It's got ink stamps and I don't want to remove them. So in order to do that, I'm going to use a little bit of Windex and soft towel. Gently rub all the dirt off as much as I can, and then come back with a soft bristle brush and follow up and knock off the rest of the loose dirt. I'm going to install brand new sway bar end links. The originals were pretty worn, hit with overspray. These new ones will definitely look much better than those. Then I want to come back, take off all the brackets that hold the sway bar bushing to the frames. I want to get those cleaned up, wire wheel them down, get them down to a nice bare metal finish, and they should be ready to go. Now it's time to address the engine compartment. It's really dusty and dirty from the car being painted, so I'm going to wipe everything down, get it as clean as I possibly can, getting all the corners, a lot of dust everywhere, and then come back through, and then once I'm finished cleaning, wax everything down with a nice wax. Out of all the jobs that you can do on these classic cars, you're witnessing my most hated: inner fender splash guards. These are just brutal. My hands always end up looking like I've had a fight with a cat and lost. The reproduction staples that they use to fasten the splash guards to the inner fenders are bigger than the originals, so I have to drill out every hole where the original staples were to fit the new wire staples in place. Now I lay the new splash guards in place, line them up with the holes, and punch them all out. There is no easy way to install these staples. You just have to do the best you can. Use the tools at hand and just try to make it look as good as possible. I'm never satisfied with the final result, but I guess just getting them in position is half the battle. And through the magic of YouTube, both sides are done. A lot of blood, a lot of cuts later. Job's finished, thankfully. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And maybe, just maybe, you'll see this engine dropped in the car next video.